Hey friends, this is the Mrs. Wolfie from Reading with Beverly Wolfie. And as many of you know, yeah, I had a shower and my hair's all over the place. I've been having a problem with BoobTube, and they have a little button now that if you want to give them feedback, right? And it's so frustrating because I'll go, why are you lifting them on a top? Why are you like saying that my Anne of Green Gables is not advertiser friendly for all users? It's like, what? For most users. Excuse me? Anne of Green Gables is bloody famous. Hi, Lisa. How are you? Did you get my email? I sent emails to everybody that was in my email thing. Hey, Dallas, how you doing, sweetheart? I got to medicate a little bit before I get into reading because I'm going to have to change my glasses. And now, hi, Mindy. So what I'm going to do is I have already, as Dallas will tell you, I have already read and edited, spent an entire day, chapter 23 of Anne of Green Gables. Okay. And they still have not released. It's been sitting there in my scheduled box for 2 days because when I uploaded it, it had the green $sign, which means now I'm sorry that I'm sharing this issue with you folks. But the truth is there was an unspoken rule when I first started YouTube that we didn't talk about making money because people get the wrong impression about why you're doing YouTube. Okay. And if you go back to the very beginning, there was times I was making 2 and 3 videos a day just for the fun of it. Okay. This was long before monetization ever came into my life. Before I even knew you could have monetization. So what they're doing now is, for some reason, okay, my our half acre homestead channel isn't doing as well as it used to. Why? Because I don't have any. I'm talking to the computer. It makes them nervous. I don't have any animals right now. I don't have any gardening right now. So I'm really doing basically cooking videos, and I can't understand all the stuff on Howie's car stuff. So I've been concentrating on my Cooking with Cannabis channel and on my reading channel more until spring comes and actually comes, and I can get started on other things. In the meantime, YouTube doesn't like how often I upload a video or something on my reading channel because they're labeling every time. Now, this is the way it works, okay? You upload your video, and if you get a green $sign, that means everything's good. It's good to go. So I saw the green $sign and I released it. And the moment I released it, they marked it as not advertiser friendly for all people or whatever the hell it is, right? So I said, because they've been doing this lately. So what I did is I just put it on private. The moment they did that, I put it on private, and there it sits. We're at a standoff. I clicked the button that says, please review this. I went to the feedback and put my one allowable sentence, which was, it's Anne of Green Gables. How is this not advertiser friendly? It's worldwide known, right? And no, it's not a copyright issue. So this is what we're going to do to get around this just for today. I'm going to read chapter 23 live. Because for some reason, live streams don't seem to be, and as soon as they read this, they're going to go, oh, well, we're going to start putting shit on her live streams. We're going to start demonetizing them. But in the meantime, let's read chapter 23. Now, what I've done is it's edited and it's uploaded. But when I finish reading it live, those who would rather wait can go. I will release the one that they haven't monetized. Okay. But I'm going to read it live first, because it's kind of a halfway point between telling them where to go and still giving you guys what you've been waiting for, right? Is that what the gray screen, no video means? I don't know. Oh, no, yes, that's what it means. It means that as soon as I released it, they said, oh, it's not advertiser friendly. So I put it to private. That's why you're not seeing it. I put it to private because I won't. What they do is I only get like 150 views, fresh views right off the bat when I release a chapter, right? But if it's green and I release it and I go back the next day and it's yellow, they've made it yellow from the start. And when I click the, appeal button, right, they go, oh, excuse me. They don't even say anything. They just re-release it. They re-green the money sign. Okay. They release the monetization, but it's already too late because it's already had the most amount of views it's going to get for the fresh burst of its lifetime. After that, it's going to be the occasional view, but not the ones people have been waiting for. So I'm going to change my glasses. I'm going to ask you to be patient with my mistakes because this is live. This isn't read and then edited. I have company on the way and I have dogs behind me. And so this might get distracting, but are you ready, folks? Are you ready to try this? I am changing my glasses. Oh no, they need to be cleaned. All righty. You're going to get chapter 23 here and now, and then tomorrow I will release the one that they've been withholding. Now that's chapter 24. And here's the picture. All right. Chapter 23. Anne comes to grief in an affair of honor. Anne had to live through more than 2 weeks, as it happened. Almost a month having elapsed since the liniment cake episode. It was high time for her to get into fresh trouble of some sort. Little mistakes, such as absent-mindedly emptying a pan of skim milk into the basket of yarn balls in the pantry instead of into the pig's bucket, and walking clean over the edge of the log bridge into the brook while wrapped in imaginative reverie, not really being worth counting. A week after the tea at the manse, Diana Barry gave a party. Small and select, Anne assured Marilla. Just the girls in our class. They had a very good time and nothing untoward happened until after tea, when they found themselves in the Barry garden, a little tired of all their games and ripe for any enticing form of mischief which might present itself. This presently took the form of daring. Daring was the fashionable amusement among the Avonlea small fry just then. It had begun among the boys, but soon spread to the girls, and all the silly things that were done in Avonlea that summer because of the doers thereof were dared to do them, would fill a book by themselves. First of all, Carrie Sloane dared Ruby Gillis to climb to a certain point in the huge old willow tree before the front door, which Ruby Gillis, albeit in mortal dread of the fat green caterpillars which the said tree was infested, and with the fear of her mother before her eyes if she should tear her new muslin dress, nimbly did, to the discomfiture of aforesaid Carrie Sloane. Then Josie Pye dared Jane Andrews to hop on her left leg around the garden without stopping once or putting her foot to the ground, which Jane Andrews gamely tried to do, but gave out at the third corner and had to confess herself defeated. Josie's triumph being rather more pronounced than good taste permitted, Anne Shirley dared her to walk along the top of the board fence, which bounded the garden to the east. Now, to walk board fences requires more skill and steadiness of head and heel than one might suppose who has never tried it. But Josie Pye, if deficient in some qualities that make for popularity, had at least a natural and inborn gift duly cultivated for walking board fences. Josie walked the Barry fence with an airy unconcern, which seemed to imply that a little thing like that wasn't worth a dare. Reluctant admiration greeted her exploit, for most of the girls could appreciate it, having suffered many things themselves in their efforts to walk fences. Josie descended from her perch, flushed with victory, and darted a defiant glance at Anne. Anne tossed her red braids. I don't think it's such a very wonderful thing to walk a little low board fence, she said. I knew a girl in Marysville who could walk the ridgepole of a roof. I don't believe it, said Josie flatly. I don't believe anybody could walk a ridgepole. You couldn't, anyhow. Couldn't I? Cried Anne rashly. Then I dare you to do it, said Josie defiantly. I dare you to climb up there and walk the ridgepole of Mr. Barry's kitchen roof. Anne turned pale, but there was clearly only one thing to be done. She walked towards the house, where a ladder was leaning against the kitchen roof. All the fifth-class girls said, "Oh," partly in excitement, partly in dismay. Don't you do it, Anne, entreated Diana. You'll fall off and be killed. Never mind Josie Pye. It isn't fair to dare anybody to do anything so dangerous. I must do it. My honor is at stake, said Anne solemnly. I shall walk that ridgepole, Diana, or perish in the attempt. If I am killed, you are to have my pearl bead ring. Anne climbed the ladder amid breathless silence, gained the ridgepole, balanced herself uprightly on that precarious footing, and started to walk along it. Dizzily conscious that she was uncomfortably high up in the world and that walking ridgepoles was not a thing in which your imagination helped you out much. Nevertheless, she managed to take several steps before the catastrophe came. It must be her middle name, eh? Sorry. Then she swayed, lost her balance, stumbled, staggered, and fell, sliding down over the sun-baked roof and crashing off it through the tangle of Virginia creeper beneath, all before the dismayed circle below could give a simultaneous terrified shriek. If Anne had tumbled off the roof on the side up which she had ascended, Diane would probably have fallen heir to the pearl bead ring then and there. Fortunately, she fell on the other side, where the roof extended down over the porch so nearly to the ground that a fall thereon, or therefrom, was a much less serious thing. Nevertheless, when Diana and the other girls had rushed frantically around the house, except Ruby Gillis, who remained as if rooted to the ground and went into hysterics, they found Anne lying all white and limp among the wreck and ruin of the Virginia creeper. Anne, are you killed? Shrieked Diana, throwing herself on her knees beside her friend. Oh, Anne, dear Anne, speak just one word to me and tell me if you're killed. To the immense relief of all the girls, and especially of Josie Pye, who, in spite of lack of imagination, had been seized with horrible visions of a future branded as the girl who was the cause of Anne Shirley's early and tragic death, Anne sat up dizzily and answered uncertainly, No, Diana, I'm not killed, but I think I'm rendered unconscious. Where? Sobbed Carrie Sloane. Oh, where, Anne? Before Anne could answer, Mrs. Barry appeared on the scene. At the sight of her, Anne tried to scramble to her feet, but sank back again with a sharp little cry of pain. What's the matter? Where have you hurt yourself? Demanded Mrs. Barry. My ankle, gasped Anne. Oh, Diana, please find your father and ask him to take me home. I know I can never walk there, and I'm sure I couldn't hop so far on one foot when Jane couldn't even hop around the garden. Marilla was out in the orchard picking a panful of summer apples when she saw Mr. Barry coming over the log bridge and up the slope, with Mrs. Barry beside him and a whole procession of little girls trailing after him. In his arms, he carried Anne, whose head lay limply against his shoulder. At that moment, Marilla had a revelation. In the sudden stab of fear that pierced to her very heart, she realized what Anne had come to mean to her. She would have admitted that she liked Anne, nay, that she was very fond of Anne. But now she knew, as she hurried wildly down the slope, that Anne was dearer to her than anything on earth. "Mr. Barry, what has happened to her?" she gasped, more white and shaken than the self-contained, sensible Marilla had been for many years. Excuse me. Anne herself answered, lifting her head. "Don't be frightened, Marilla. I was walking the ridgepole and I fell off. I expect I have a sprained ankle. But Marilla, I might have broken my neck. Let us look on the bright side of things." "I might have known that you'd go and do something of the sort when I let you go to that party," said Marilla, sharp and shrewish in her very relief. "Bring her in here, Mr. Barry, and lay her on the sofa. Mercy me, the child has gone and fainted." It was quite true. Overcome by the pain of her injury, Anne had one more of her wishes granted to her. She had fainted dead away. Matthew, hastily summoned from the harvest field, was straightway dispatched for the doctor, who in due time came to discover that the injury was more serious than they had supposed. Anne's ankle was broken. That night, when Marilla went up to the east gable, where a white-faced girl was lying, a plaintive voice greeted her from the bed. "Aren't you very sorry for me, Marilla?" "It was your own fault," said Marilla, twitching down the blind and lighting a lamp. "And that is just why you should be sorry for me," said Anne. "Because the thought that it is all my own fault is what makes it so hard. If I could blame it on anybody, I would feel so much better. But what would you have done, Marilla, if you'd been dared to walk a ridgepole?" "I'd have stayed on good firm ground and let them dare away. Such absurdity," said Marilla. Anne sighed. "But you have such strength of mind, Marilla. I haven't. I just felt that I couldn't bear Josie Pye's scorn. She would have crowed over me all my life, and I think I have been punished so much that you needn't be very cross with me, Marilla. It's not nice to faint after all, and the doctor hurt me dreadfully when he was setting my ankle. I won't be able to go around for 6 or 7 weeks, and I'll miss the new lady teacher. She won't be new anymore by the time I'm able to go to school, and everybody will get ahead of me in class. Oh, I am an afflicted mortal, but I'll try to bear it all bravely if only you won't be cross with me, Marilla." There, I'm not cross," said Marilla. "You're an unlucky child, there's no doubt about that. But as you say, you'll have the suffering of it. Here now, try and eat some supper. Isn't it fortunate I've got such an imagination?" said Anne. "It will help me through splendidly, I expect. What do people who haven't any imagination do when they break their bones, do you suppose, Marilla?" Anne had good reason to bless her imagination many a time and oft during the tedious 7 weeks that followed. But she was not solely dependent on it. She had many visitors, and not a day passed without one or more of the schoolgirls dropping in to bring her flowers and books and to tell her all the happenings in the juvenile world of Avonlea. "Everybody has been so good and kind, Marilla," sighed Anne happily on the day when she could first limp across the floor. "It isn't very pleasant to be laid up, but there is a bright side to it, Marilla. You find out how many friends you have. Why, even Superintendent Bell came to see me, and he's really a very fine man. Not a kindred spirit, of course, but still I like him, and I'm awfully sorry to ever have criticized his prayers. I believe now he really does mean them, only he's got into the habit of saying them as if he didn't. He could get over that if he'd take a little trouble. I gave him a good broad hint. I told him how hard I'd tried to make my own little private prayers interesting. He told me all about the time he broke his ankle when he was a boy. It does seem strange to think of Superintendent Bell ever being a boy. Even my imagination has its limits, for I can't imagine that. When I try to imagine him as a boy, I see him with gray whiskers and spectacles, just as he looks in Sunday school, only smaller. Now, it's so easy to imagine Mrs. Allen as a little girl. Mrs. Allen has been to, oh, excuse me. Mrs. Allen has been to see me 14 times. Isn't that something to be proud of, Marilla? When a minister's wife has so many claims on her time. She is such a cheerful person to have visit you, too. She never tells you it's your own fault, and she hopes she'll be a better girl on account of it. Mrs. Lynde always told me when she came to see me, Mrs. Lynde always told me that when she came to see me, and she said it in a kind of way that made me feel she might hope I'd be a better girl, but really didn't believe I would. Even Josie Pye came to see me. I received her as politely as I could, because I think she was sorry she dared me to walk the ridgepole. If I had been killed, she would have had to carry that dark burden of remorse all her life. Diana has been a faithful friend. She's been over every day to cheer my lonely pillow, but oh, I shall be so glad when I can go to school, for I've heard such exciting things about the new teacher. The girls all think she is perfectly sweet. Diana says she has the loveliest fair curly hair and such fascinating eyes. She dresses beautifully, and her sleeve puffs are bigger than anybody else's in Avonlea. Every other Friday afternoon, she has recitations, and everybody has to say a piece or take part in a dialogue. Oh, it's just glorious to think of it. Josie Pye says she hates it, but that is just because Josie has so little imagination. Diana and Ruby Gillis and Jane Andrews are preparing a dialogue called A Morning Visit for next Friday. And the Friday afternoons that they don't have recitations, Miss Stacy takes them all to the woods for a field day. And they study the ferns and flowers and birds. And they have physical culture exercises every morning and every evening. Mrs. Lynde says she's never heard of such goings-on, and it all comes from having a lady teacher. But I think it must be splendid, and I believe I shall find that Miss Stacy is a kindred spirit. There is one thing plain to be seen, Anne, said Marilla, and that is your fall off the Barry roof hasn't injured your tongue at all. Chapter 24 or chapter 23. Sorry for the mistakes. Let me get my thing back on. So, oh yeah, well, Mary Jane, did everybody enjoy that? Well, yeah, I don't like making mistakes, and I get in the habit when I read of saying excuse me whenever I make a mistake or okay, so that I know where to stop the video feed and then go back and correct it. So I actually did better than I expected. So, yeah, Mary Jane, I talked to Jeremy on the phone, and he said that they were going to stop in Ottawa and take some pictures and stuff. So all I have to do, I've put all the clean laundry in baskets hid it in my bedroom. The bathroom's clean, and all I have to do is load the dishwasher and vacuum the rug. I'm all good. I'm glad you enjoyed it, folks. This will have to do you until they release the monetization on chapter 23. I am going to go ahead and read chapter 24, 25, and 26 and try and get them done for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But Monday will probably be the day I end up reading them because I do have company all weekend. Oh, well, I'm glad. I'm still awake. I need another story. I haven't read chapter 24 yet, which means it would be I would make a lot more mistakes. But if you enjoyed this, then maybe once a week or twice a month or something, I can read one of the chapters aloud. But I will always record it and edit it and put it in the playlist. This will not be put in the playlist. The chapter 23 that I've already done will. So how's everybody doing today? I'll go back and read the chat over later. Where is it? Oh, right. So that's what's going on. Is there still people here? Because my chat has not moved. Sometimes it happens if someone's trying to make a phone call to me. So, hi, Mississippi Me. Okay, let me say hi to everybody that I see so far. Lori, Kelly, Deborah, Dallas, Lisa, Rosie, Edie, Mississippi, Sandra, Helen, and how's everybody doing? Marking, falling asleep. Ow. My tummy hurts. I'm going to have to get my stomach checked, I think, because I think I'm getting ulcers, but. Oh, Jody Bean. Hey, craving blueberry biscuits because of you. You know what? They were so good. There was like 9 biscuits. Oh, my stomach. There was like 9 biscuits. And I had like 2 for my lunch. So that left 7. And then I had 3 after supper because they were only little ones. They were only like 2-inch ones. But Howie was like, no, they were gone. There was none left for his lunch. Oh, well, I'm glad you like the bumper sticker and the handwritten note, Lou. I still have to send out Chevy Ford his. So anyway, smoking bothers your stomach, try edibles. Have you been to my Cooking with Cannabis channel there, Kelly? You may want to check it out. I only smoke during the day. Oh, and that's another thing. I've been on mood disorder drugs for like 26 years. And I was diagnosed with severe depression by my GP when Briar was an infant. And I've been on the same pills ever since. Now, these pills are a stomach irritant. So when I go to bed at night, I have to take them with food. But last night or yesterday, I forgot to remind Howie to pick up my pills. And last night I went to bed without them. And I won't be having them for another few hours just yet, probably supper time. So although I seem pretty calm and everything right now, by tomorrow I'm going to be a little twitchy. Even though I will be taking the pills as soon as I get them, it's still kind of screws things up. So my daughter and I felt like we received celebrity merchandise. There's no celebrities here. Folks, I'm not a celebrity. Never have been, never will be. I am who I am. Ellaville? What is Ellaville? What's Ellaville, Kelly? I do edibles most of the time. During the day, I smoke. Oh, yeah. So that's why I'm smoking. I'm going to be smoking and smoking and smoking until it's going to take 3 to 4 days for the mist, because I have to take them when I go to bed, and I'm going almost 24 hours without them. So, yeah, my depression pills, and no, it's fluvoxamine. And they have to give me a specific type of fluvoxamine, a generic version it can be, but it has to be in the pill, not the capsule form, because the capsule form dissolves too quickly and really upsets my stomach. So, but it's going to take 3 to 4 days for me to survive the missing of 1 day of pills. So it's going to take 3 or 4 days, because I'm fine right now. I'll start twitching like I have a fever or something my nerve endings will start twitching and stuff, and then I will get to the point where I can't focus and I can't hear properly. It all goes to hell in a handbasket. It's like somebody putting a bucket over your head, a metal bucket, and then hitting it with a hammer every once in a while when you're trying to concentrate. That's kind of what it's like. Poor man's Amish steaks. What's that, hamburgers? I talked to Jeremy. That's my Jeremy and Carmela, Mary Jane's son and daughter-in-law, are coming up for the weekend. And I phoned him and said, what am I making for supper? Because I got a corned beef, which I'm going to make on Sunday because Sunday's St. Patrick's Day. So I actually might make it tomorrow so that I have a video for St. Patrick's Day. We will see. But he said, he said, you're not cooking nothing. I'm bringing pork chops and hamburger and patty molders and spices and barbecue sauce. And, okay. All right. And I had to explain to them because I am the type of person. Just good old lovely Bev, one for us. Now, I'm not sure I understood what that meant. But anyway, I explained to them, when I first phoned, I said, Jeremy, you and Carmela have to listen to me very carefully because I explained I'm off my meds for one day. And I said, and it won't become a problem until tomorrow. Even though if I take a double dose, it will still be a problem tomorrow because there's a hiccup. It creates a hiccup in my synapses. So anyway, when I phoned Jeremy and Carmela, because they're on their way here, I said, now listen, you have to hear me on this. And Jeremy's like, yeah, well, I said, Jeremy, no, honey, you have to listen to Aunt Beth. Okay. I, am missing a dose of my mood meds. B, I was raised to be a hostess. And when I say hostess, I mean when company comes to your home, they're waited on hand and foot. The house is clean. Meals are served. Everybody is looked after, right? And I said, and my house is spotless, right? I can't do that anymore. Now, I have to, and I would kill myself trying to get this kind of thing done. And my concern is, I know Carmela. Okay, Carmela is going to very quietly start doing housework, and it's going to bother the shit out of me because I can't right now. But Howie swept the floors last night. All the clean laundry's hiding in the bedroom. All I have to do is, and I've unloaded the dishwasher. All I have to do is load it, wipe the counters, and vacuum the rug. So I've probably got about an hour and a half or so to do that. But I had to explain to him that this is an issue for me, for them to come into my house and find, it lived in. It's lived in, right? So, it's a lesson in letting go for me too. I may be 55, and I've had people say, I'm a senior citizen on disability and I keep my house better than you. And it's like, okay, well, you don't work. Obviously, you're a senior citizen on disability. You don't have dogs. You don't have a husband who works in a body shop and then comes home and works in a garage all night, all evening. You don't have 3 jobs and fibromyalgia and arthritis and all these other issues. So don't, I wish people would just stop judging, right? But I'm the hardest judge on myself. I stress. Lou Carter says, I stress as well when people stop by and my house isn't in order. OCD thing for me. I know. And it's really, really hard. And that's why I explained to Jeremy, I'm going to relax this weekend. I will do things as I have to do them, but I don't want people to feel. I said, basically, Jeremy, you're coming to Aunt Bev's house. It's family. You're not going to be company. Understand? And he goes, gotcha. I'm bringing all the food I'm cooking. So it's like, okay, fine. Um, your stream keeps blanking out. Just got on and it's happened 4 times. Anyone else having this trouble? Nobody's tried to phone me or anything. So, oh yeah, she's a good girl. I love Carmela. I love Carmela. I mean, her and Jeremy are a match for sure. Absolutely. So, I think I'll make corned beef and cabbage tomorrow. Whatever Jeremy brings, I'd like to make an Amish casserole too, an Amish breakfast casserole. Because I think that would be good. And I do have my lunch meat. When I made the pork pies, I had meat left over, so I put it in a sausage casing and roasted it. So that would make nice slices of like sausage meat in there. So yeah, it must be, Tammy. It must be on your end because my stream is doing pretty good. Any questions? How's things going with everybody? I'm not going to be on here long if I'm just going to sit here and talk without come on, I'm here talking to you now. I'm not reading to you now. We're talking. So, everything is melting. Melting. 2 days ago, we had a snowstorm and it snowed all friggin' day. The snow hill that the snowplow is put up between my house and barn is over 5 feet tall. What do you fix to go with your corned beef? Well, cabbage, potatoes, and an onion. I thought that's universal. I don't think so, but I have to make a cake because I'm going to make my lemon poke cake. So I'm going to be getting off here shortly so I can make a cake. Yes, I'm excited for spring and for planting veggies. I'm really pissed because I ordered my celery, my leeks, and my black tomatoes or brown tomatoes or plum tomato. They're big heritage beefsteak. I've ordered all those seeds weeks ago and they haven't arrived yet. And I'm pissed because my grow box is up and running and I've got babies just starting in it. And I wanted to start a couple of beefsteak tomato plants and start my leeks and start my celery so that they're well established when I put them out in the raised beds. So, but I'm pissed because those seeds haven't arrived yet. Making Oreo cake today for a birthday. Loved Little House on the Prairie reading. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed that, Lelou. Sorry. It was 30 degrees here in New Hampshire 2 days ago, and now it's 60. And you're talking Fahrenheit, right? Because if it's 60 degrees Celsius, you're pretty much dead. No, I don't think anybody could leave. Yeah. So I don't know what it is right now, and I don't want to look at my phone. Well, let me look at my tablet because until Monday, I can't change all my data over to the tablet. Wait a second here. Where's the date? I don't know. But it's above zero because everything is melting. It's melting and it's melting and it's melting. It's melting fast. I expect any moment to hear a big boom as snow slides off my greenhouse. Thank you, God, that my greenhouse survived with 3 feet of snow on it because it's only those plastic ribbed roof panels. And I think everyone is wanting spring after all the polar vortexes we've had. GTA, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Oh, yeah. Tell me about it. Lilu's. Lee and lose rhymes with toes. So it's Lilos. Lilos? 70 degrees yesterday. Oh, in Kentucky. Oh, I tell you. If I had to live in the States, it'd be like Kentucky. I think I'd live in Kentucky. I think I would. Hey, Chevy Ford, I haven't mailed your bumper sticker yet. But I will be doing that on Monday. I suppose we're having a good day. I suppose we're having a good day. I mean, I'm in a lot of pain. Um, I've been eating too many carbs. I've put on like 12 pounds over the winter, and because it was such a long winter, and I feel every pound. Every pound I've gained feels like 10 pound of potatoes on my back. It's just awful. Hey, Lou, just Lou. So, um, praying for all the cyclones and bad killer weather. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, when Howie and I, when we drove, no, we flew. When we drove our minivan down to, we used to have a mobile home in Arizona, in Peoria, Arizona. And we had it for a few years, like 3 years. And we drove our minivan down there and left it there for the winter, so that whenever we went down, it would be there. Well, we ended up selling the mobile home, but we drove it down there in May and we had a blast. But the thing was, it was just Howie and I, and we didn't realize that by the time we hit, I think it was Missouri, there were cyclones following us all the way. And by the time we had got, because we had a phone there too, that was just put away to sleep. Like our phone number was put to sleep while we weren't there and then just revved up when we were there. And by the time we got there were messages from everybody going, "Oh my God, did you get there okay?" Because it took us a couple of days to get there. "Did you get there okay?" Because the last place we stopped in Missouri, we couldn't see the sky but we knew it was stormy. And the town was damn near flattened within 3 or 4 hours after we left. It was just nuts. It was just nuts. But I'll tell you, so I mean, that's just stuff you just, as Canadians, we don't think of that often, because where I live, yeah, I've had some really high winds here, knock trees down and stuff, but nothing that would flatten a house, not around here, right? We're in the hills. We're in the Gatineau Valley, so I hope everybody in the southern states and that they're going to be getting hit hard, because when your temperatures go like a 50-degree mood swing, think about it as a mood swing. Everything's cold and then it goes thaw, and then next thing you know, it's like a temper tantrum. The weather has a temper tantrum. Looking forward to spring, but not summer. Can't tolerate the heat anymore, but I just know, my pool. We haven't even started paying for it yet. Okay. That's coming this month. I just looked out today and the snow had pulled the liner down inside my pool. I don't know what's going on there, but Howie better be fixing it, and it better be before July, because my pool is as a fibromyalgia sufferer, I always thought, there was always excuses made for, like, "Oh, Bev, your feet are so cold." When I put my feet against my mom's legs in bed, she'd say, "Ay, child, your feet are like ice." Oh, there's a memory. I love you, Mom. I miss you, Mom. Or my hands would go like ice. Or if we would go skating or tobogganing, my feet would get too cold and they would ache and I would have to come home. And they always thought it was bad circulation, but I've had fibromyalgia probably my whole life. And what it does is, my body temperature is almost a full degree lower than what's considered normal. And I can't regulate my body temperature. My body temperature stays fairly normal because I rarely get a temperature, right? I rarely get I could have strep throat and I'll go up to 99 degrees with strep throat, like blisters in my throat kind of thing. But that's when that's why I hate changing doctors, because it takes them years to get to know me. Like, I don't get temperatures. Last time I had a temperature of 101, I was hallucinating at 101. And that means like I got pneumonia or something, right? Where was I going with this? Oh, regulating my body temperature. So I'm one of the few people, or there's probably more of us out there than we know, who, it could be 40 below, but I have no heat on in my bedroom. Poor Howie. He sleeps in a separate bed. He has to, because I won't allow the heat on in my room, in the bedroom. And I sleep with an industrial size Princess Auto fan blowing over me all night long, even in 40 below weather. That pool is the only thing that helps me regulate how my body reacts to external temperatures in the summertime. So I have to have that pool. Yesterday we had 50 to 60 mile an hour winds, and last week windstorm took out one of our windows. Wow. Questions in all caps, please. Yes, my body temperature is, instead of 98.6, it's like 97.6. 97.8. That's about right. They're going to find. I'm curious, Tammy. Do you have no O negative blood or negative blood of any kind? Like, is your blood Rh negative? There's a good question. Same with you, Edie Murray. Do you guys have negative blood? Yeah. Okay. O positive. Okay. Just a theory I was thinking of. Okay. I'm O neg. I'm an alien, apparently. Bev, I have low body temp and have O neg blood. Well, it kind of blew my theory about O neg. But hi, Joshua and Doris. So yeah, I mean, so when I use that pool all summer long. If you think about this, I'm sleeping in a cold room. I'd rather be cold than hot, okay? Because I'll crawl into bed and I'll turn the fan on and I'll crawl into bed and I will lay stark naked with the blankets behind me until I cool down. And then I will peel and throw one blanket over me. And if I don't start to sweat, then I will throw the other blanket over me. And then when I go to sleep, I roll over and I snuggle under those two blankets. And just as I'm dozing off, it's too hot, I throw the top blanket off. Can you imagine me in the summertime? That's why I have to have a pool. Yes, it's heated, but my pool can't go above 80 degrees. Because I like it between 75 and 80. And that way, in the middle of the night, if I get to the point where it's too hot, I can just go and I will immerse my body in the pool for a good 20 minutes. Like, I will bring down my, the external, the way my body's reacting to the external heat. So I wish I had a pool that would help. I know. Well, if anybody remembers last year, it was the 2 weeks before or a week before my pig roast, before my pool got put up. And that was near the end of July. And now something's wrong. So obviously the sides are all standing up, but the liner has been pulled out. Hope it's not damaged. If it is, we have another one. Thanks to J0, my brother John, last time we were in, he gave us a pool liner because they took theirs down. So, but yeah, I mean, people don't realize, like what Howie said last spring, well, I'm thinking of taking the pool down altogether, like in March last year. I went, oh no, that's not allowed. That's not allowed. There's a lot of things I can live without, but my pool ain't one of them. After menopause, I just always say my internal thermostat is broken. Well, my internal thermostat has always been broken. Always been broken. Yes, Dallas. Thank you, honey. I hope you guys enjoyed reading me reading chapter 23 of Anne of Green Gables. And as soon as they release the monetization on the actual edited version, I will upload that and put it in the playlist. Until then, I hope this left you wanting more. Okay. Anyway, this is Bev from Reading with Beverly Wolfe. I love you guys. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Okay. I got to go. I got to vacuum. I got to load the dishwasher and I got to bake a cake. Take care. God bless. There we go.